Hi, my name is Anna. I am the co-founder of the company called Zenos, Zen Outsourcing Services.
Hello, I'm Emma, co-founder of Zenos or Zen Outsourcing Services. Our company helps clients streamline their business by outsourcing their non-core activities. Zenos offers admin and marketing services to startups, small and mid-sized organizations, all at competitive costs and with a stress-free, flexible Zen approach. As a co-founder, I manage project managers, negotiate with the clients, and delegate activities.
What I know about hybrid and remote work in general is that it's becoming a norm rather than a competitive advantage. I've been working remotely for 5 years now, and for me, it's the only way I know how to work now. I know that nowadays, after the pandemic, so many companies are changing to remote or hybrid work simply because the employees are asking for that and they are demanding that. So as much as we move forward with modernization of technologies in the office work and in general in the business world, I think that remote work is also the future, or at least hybrid work if some companies don't necessarily want their workers to work completely remotely. I think that nowadays it's no longer something that the companies should think about. It's simply to make it work for their employees. If they are interested in remote working or hybrid working, they should be given that chance.
All our team works remotely since launching our company. The majority of Zenos team is located in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they are not sitting in the same office. Actually, they are located in different cities, Zenica, Sarajevo and Tuzla. A few of our team members live in Austria and they are also working from their homes. We promote working from everywhere and we think that is something our employees really like. Work from home, from the beach, from your favorite cafe or park, it doesn't matter. As you can see, during the summer I'm working from the coast and that makes me love my job more. Remote type of work helps us during the pandemic because we didn't have to adapt to new circumstances. The only difference was in working with some clients. Before the pandemic they wanted live meetings, but in the pandemic we have to switch to online and that was easy for us. Actually, that was our advantage.
The situation with our company was quite specific. We founded our company before the pandemic and we were already a virtual team and working remotely. So the pandemic didn't necessarily have an impact on the way we do the work, but it definitely had an impact on the way that clients viewed our work and online work in general. So they had more and more confidence to work with somebody who they never met in person, but just through Zoom meetings and online. And in general, I think the pandemic had a very positive impact on the way that people in general and businesses view remote work and virtual teams. When it comes to the positive aspects, I think that the obvious one is that you can work from anywhere, so the flexibility of working from a different place, but also the flexibility when it comes to the time, so working anytime. This showed as a really good thing, at least for our team, because many of our team members don't really have enough time in the 9 to 5 limit to do all their tasks, so they are flexible enough to kind of move around their tasks according to when they have more time and maybe free up some of their time during the day for some other things. And another positive example that I would like to share, which might not be so obvious, is a situation with one of our team members who joined us in a very interesting way. She didn't do that well on the interview, but we decided to give her a chance anyways, and she proved to be a very good team member, very dedicated project manager. But she told us that she would have never had this experience and this success in work if it was an office environment, because she's a very big introvert and she's not that comfortable with face-to-face communication. So for her, online work or remote work is great because she gets to show all her talents and be successful at her work, which wouldn't have been the case if it was an office environment. So this is something that we're very proud of, and we saw that this gives us a chance to work with some great people who might not necessarily be okay with working in an office environment or live, but online work gives them a chance to prove themselves. So some of the biggest challenges we saw is that you just don't get to meet the person that you're working with that well. I think that we are all used to having social interactions with our coworkers, with our employees, with our supervisors, and then having do all the work online and communicating with somebody only via Zoom or text messages. It just kind of makes you feel like you don't really know the person that you're working with. It was something to overcome, definitely, and we did our best to organize some team building live meetups, or at least some to get dinners together or something like that, simply to make the people meet the coworker that they've been working with for even months at that time. Another challenge, I think, is the transparency. There has to be a high level of trust between you as a supervisor and the people doing the job, because you don't really sit there and you don't see how long somebody is working on the project, what kind of solutions they are using, how are they, what is their process of doing the work, etc., etc. Also, another issue was training, because when you train somebody, it's so much easier to sometimes just sit together and live and go through some of the things, but obviously we had to adapt and do all the trainings online. However, I think that all of that can be overcome. It's just a matter of knowing the people well enough to know how they react to certain situations, and then offering them solutions in the online world. It can also be a little bit isolating, obviously, when you're just working online with the people that you don't meet every day. So it's very, very important to take some time to talk to your either supervisors or co-workers about things that are not related to work, things that you would normally talk to them about next to the coffee machine in the office. So something that just makes you feel more to make you feel more bonded with the person that you're working with.
After the pandemic, we plan to keep working remotely, but in the future we plan to establish offices, because if our team members wish to work in a hybrid way, we want to offer them that possibility.
When it comes to a particular policy for well-being of employees working remotely, we don't have it in place. We are a very young and small company, so we don't have a formal policy in place. However, we do have a lot of informal policies and suggestions also to our team members who are working remotely, to make sure that they balance well between the work that they have to do and their free time. It has been a challenge sometimes to just distinguish between your real life and work, sometimes because it just gets so blurred. And there have been situations when there's a lot of work, so some team members feel really, really overloaded. And that's when we always try to say that when it comes to that point where you feel like you can't take it anymore, you just go offline. We make sure that the projects are taken care of by other team members, and we also step in and pick up what we can. But the team member that is feeling overloaded should definitely go offline for a few days, even if needed, and just reset before they're able to take up new tasks and to make sure that they are ready for new projects. I think that's really important, because we are online and on the phone all the time, even during our free time. So when you see emails popping up from work at the same time, you kind of can't really switch that off. Even if you decide to ignore it, somehow it stays in your mind. So we always encourage people to just go offline completely, go to the nature, go to a park or somewhere to just not be connected for a while, in order to reset their brains and be ready for new challenges. So the support that we could have in order to make our remote work more successful would definitely be more technological support, in a sense of more apps that help either track time transparently from the people working remotely, or some other apps that help manage some things like virtual meetings, because we found that obviously we use Zoom and other technologies for our online meetings, but there is definitely a lack of apps that help run meetings virtually and make sure that, you know, all the things that are covered are then picked up afterwards via task force and action plans, etc., etc. Also, another form of support would be definitely useful to have some consulting, in a sense of HR consulting for remote workers, because we see this as a big gap currently, that most of the HR policies and HR practices that are currently there are mostly related to people working in a physical office. So it would definitely be helpful to get some HR perspective on managing your remote workforce and having them feel like they're part of the team.
I haven't got the opportunity to participate in such training yet. Anyone from my team hasn't got the chance also, although it would be very useful for us. If we got the opportunity to learn more about healthy hybrid or remote working, it would help us to overcome certain challenges that we face during remote work. Definitely, I am. I would like my colleagues to get such an opportunity also. It would help Zenos a lot. It would improve our work-life balance, team communication, and overall job satisfaction. I hope if you organize an education on healthy hybrid working, you will invite us to take part.